Welcome, seekers of wisdom. Today we confront an ancient truth, one that echoes through the ages from the minds of Stoic philosophers who understood the heart of human struggle. Life, in all its unpredictable and relentless beauty, often asks us to let go of our attachments, our expectations, our grudges. But what if letting go isn't about loss? What if it's the ultimate act of strength, a doorway to peace, freedom, and power over our own minds? In a world that demands control, we're conditioned to cling to possessions, to people, to our sense of self. But the Stoics saw through this illusion. They knew the true art of living lies in learning how to release, to stand resilient in the face of life's storms, unmoved by the waves. This journey, this practice of letting go, isn't about weakness or surrender. It's about a profound mastery over oneself. Throughout this video, we'll explore the secret Stoicism offers, the tools it provides to calm the mind and sharpen the spirit. You'll discover insights from ancient sages that teach us to free ourselves from the chains we can't see, to walk through life unburdened, and to face each moment as it is, not as we wish it to be. By the end, you'll understand that letting go is not just an action. It is an art, a power, a path to true liberation. Lesson 1. The power of perception. Imagine standing at the edge of a great ocean, waves crashing against the rocks, unrelenting. The skies above shift from light to darkness, the clouds billowing and rolling as if mirroring the turmoil we sometimes feel inside. The sea itself doesn't change. It is vast, powerful, and timeless. But what we feel about the sea, the storm, the chaos, that changes everything. This is the very foundation of Stoic thought, the unshakable belief that our perception, our way of interpreting the world, defines our reality. In life, we often fall into the trap of believing that our emotions and experiences are shaped directly by external events. We believe that we are merely reacting to the actions and words of others, to the obstacles life throws in our path. But the Stoics saw beyond this. They taught that it's not what happens to us that defines our experience, it's how we interpret and perceive those events. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, distilled this wisdom into a single powerful line: the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. In this single sentence, he captured a timeless truth. Our thoughts, our perceptions color our world, shaping it to reflect what we hold in our minds. Think of two people facing identical challenges. They lose their job, or a relationship falls apart, or they face a great personal loss. One person sees only despair, darkness, and defeat. They become consumed by bitterness, unable to move forward. The other person sees, instead, a lesson, perhaps even an opportunity. They accept the loss as part of life's natural rhythm and allow it to reshape them, to teach them resilience, patience, and perspective. The events are the same, but the response is entirely different. And that difference, that vast gap in experience, lies in perception. In Stoic philosophy, this power of perception is not just a mental exercise, but a path to freedom. By mastering how we interpret the world, we free ourselves from the grip of anger, frustration, and sadness. When we encounter obstacles, setbacks, and losses, we realize they are not tragedies or betrayals, but simply parts of life's complex tapestry. Stoicism teaches us to step back, to pause, to look at the situation as if from above. This shift in perspective allows us to see things as they are, free from our emotional attachments and biases. The moment we recognize that our perception shapes our experience, we unlock a tremendous power within ourselves. Our minds become a fortress, our emotions calm, our thoughts sharpened. We stop reacting instinctively to every slight, every obstacle. Instead, we act deliberately, choosing our response based on reason and wisdom. This mastery over perception doesn't mean we are indifferent or unfeeling. Quite the opposite. It means we are so in tune with ourselves, so aware of our inner strength, that we no longer allow the world to dictate our peace of mind. Letting go then begins with perception. We let go of the need to control every event, every outcome, every person around us. Instead, we focus inward. We master our thoughts, refine our perspective, and in doing so, we become liberated. To let go, we must first understand that nothing outside us can truly affect our inner peace unless we allow it to. Lesson 2. Understanding control. Picture yourself as a captain at the helm of a ship. The sea stretches endlessly before you, waves rising and falling as far as the eye can see. You command the ship but not the sea, you set the course but not the wind. Stoicism teaches us that true power lies not in controlling the waters, but in steering our own vessel with wisdom, no matter the storm. This principle, understanding what is within our control and what is not, is foundational to a life of calm, resilience, and strength. The Stoics recognized that our desire to control everything around us, the actions of others, the outcomes of events, even our own future, is a losing battle, a source of frustration and turmoil. Epictetus, a former slave who rose to become one of Stoicism's greatest teachers, spoke of this truth. Some things are up to us, and some are not. His words seem simple but carry a profound lesson. When we fight to control what we cannot, we only imprison ourselves in worry, anger, and anxiety. So, what is within our control? The Stoics taught that the answer is remarkably straightforward: our own thoughts, actions, and responses. These alone are within our domain. Everything else, from the weather to the choices of others to the twists of fate, lies beyond our grasp. Our task, then, is to turn our attention inward, to sharpen our minds and strengthen our responses, to focus only on what we truly govern. To illustrate, imagine a situation where you face rejection, perhaps in a relationship, a job opportunity, or a creative endeavor. Rejection can sting, no matter how prepared we are, and it's natural to feel hurt. But what if we recognize that the decision itself is outside our control? What if, instead, we direct our energy toward how we respond to it? By doing so, we transform the experience into a source of personal power. We refuse to let external forces dictate our inner peace. Stoicism reminds us that there is a profound sense of liberation in accepting this limit on control. Imagine going through life with the confidence that you only need to focus on what is yours to govern. No more endless striving to change others, no more stress over things beyond your reach. Instead, your energy is directed toward self-mastery, resilience, and presence. By letting go of the futile quest to control the uncontrollable, you release yourself from an immense burden. This approach not only cultivates a resilient mind, but also fosters compassion and understanding. When we stop expecting others or the world to align with our wishes, we grow more tolerant and more accepting of life's natural rhythms. We see things as they are, not as we wish them to be, and in this clarity, we find a deep well of strength and patience. Letting go of the desire to control everything is not an act of weakness or surrender. It is a declaration of sovereignty over oneself. By focusing on what is within our control, we reclaim our power and find peace in any situation. This, the Stoics would tell us, is where true mastery lies, in understanding that our control is not over the world, but over ourselves within it. Lesson 3. The practice of detachment. Imagine standing atop a mountain at sunrise, witnessing the world in silence. In that vast, quiet space, nothing binds you. You are a part of everything, yet beholden to nothing. This image captures the Stoic ideal of detachment, not as a denial of life's beauty and connections, but as a deep freedom from emotional entanglement and dependency on external circumstances. Detachment is a powerful, often misunderstood Stoic practice. To detach is not to turn away or abandon what we care for, but to liberate ourselves from the illusion that we need to hold on to things to be whole. The Stoics viewed this inner freedom as essential to resilience and strength. They knew that by clinging to what we cannot keep, possessions, people, achievements, we only tie ourselves to inevitable suffering. This principle does not advocate coldness or isolation. Instead, it teaches us to enjoy and appreciate fully without the need to grasp. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman philosopher-emperor, wrote, "Receive without pride. Let go without attachment." In these words, he reminds us that we can experience joy, love, and purpose deeply without binding our peace to the fleeting nature of the world. Consider relationships which bring both profound joy and, at times, deep pain. In love, we often fear loss so much that we cling, seeking security through attachment. Yet, the Stoic perspective would ask us to hold those we love with an open hand, accepting that all things are temporary and that no one truly belongs to us. By detaching from the need to possess, we paradoxically enrich the quality of our relationships. We become present, appreciating each moment fully without the weight of fear and need. We are free to love purely, without attachment. The same principle applies to our ambitions and achievements. Stoicism doesn't discourage ambition or hard work, but it teaches us to detach from outcomes. When we set goals, we should pursue them with full commitment and dedication, but our happiness should not depend on the end result. If we succeed, we accept it gratefully. If we fail, we learn and move on. This detachment from outcomes means that we can engage deeply with life without letting it dictate our peace. This freedom also extends to how we handle adversity. In a crisis, detachment allows us to act with a clear, steady mind, free from emotional turbulence. By practicing detachment, we face challenges with resilience, unaffected by the swings of fortune. We respond wisely to setbacks, learning from them without letting them erode our inner calm. Detachment, therefore, is not an escape from life's experiences, but a practice of staying anchored. We release the need to control or possess, allowing ourselves to flow with life's natural rhythm. This is the Stoic way, to let go, not out of indifference, but to experience life more deeply, free from the chains of fear and desire. In the end, the practice of detachment isn't about giving up what we love, but about loving in a way that transcends possession, fear, and loss. We embrace life's beauty, knowing that it is fleeting, and in that understanding we find true peace and strength. Lesson 4. Embracing impermanence. Picture a leaf caught in the wind, its life journey complete as it drifts slowly from the branch to the ground. This leaf, once green and full of life, now gracefully lets go of its place in the tree's canopy. The Stoics understood life's impermanence in this same way, recognizing that change is a constant, and embracing this truth is essential for inner peace and wisdom. Central to Stoic philosophy is the concept of memento mori, a Latin phrase meaning "remember you will die." At first it may sound bleak, but to the Stoic mind, this reminder of mortality is a call to live fully and meaningfully. The awareness of impermanence helps us to let go of trivial anxieties, to release our attachment to the things that are ultimately fleeting, and to savor each moment for what it is. By embracing this truth, we learn to navigate life with a sense of calm acceptance rather than resistance. The Stoics knew that we are often chained to the illusion of permanence. We believe relationships will last forever, that our youth will endure, that our achievements will define us. And when life inevitably changes, we find ourselves grieving for what once was, resisting the natural course of life. Stoicism offers a different perspective, encouraging us to see impermanence as a gift that makes every moment, every experience precious and unique. By understanding that nothing is guaranteed, we can approach life with a sense of presence and gratitude. Imagine how you would live if you knew each moment was irreplaceable. You might find yourself cherishing even the small, mundane details, the warmth of sunlight, the sound of laughter, the presence of a loved one. Stoic practice is about bringing this heightened awareness into our daily lives. By accepting impermanence, we can let go of the need to possess or control, instead focusing on savoring the present and honoring the beauty of the transient. This acceptance also empowers us to face loss with resilience. When we lose someone or something we love, we feel the weight of that loss deeply, yet understanding impermanence can soften that pain. We remember that all things have their time and place, that life itself is a series of arrivals and departures. Instead of clinging to what is gone, we honor it by letting it pass, by holding close the memories and lessons without being shackled to them. We become like the leaf that lets go of the tree, not because it is forced, but because it has fulfilled its purpose and flows with life's natural rhythm. In embracing impermanence, we also begin to see our own lives with greater clarity. Our goals and aspirations gain new significance when we realize our time here is finite. The trivial concerns that once consumed us start to fall away. The Stoics taught that knowing life's brevity can motivate us to live wisely, to focus on what truly matters, and to act with integrity, compassion, and purpose. We let go of petty distractions and instead direct our energies toward growth, kindness, and understanding. To embrace impermanence, then, is to embrace life itself in all its beauty and fragility. It is to let go, not with sorrow or fear, but with a profound sense of peace and acceptance. We let go of what we cannot keep, and in doing so we gain a deeper appreciation for the gift of each moment. Lesson 5. The power of negative visualization. Close your eyes and imagine, for a moment, losing something precious, your home, your health, or someone you deeply love. This practice, known to the Stoics as premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of evils, may seem counterintuitive. Why would we spend time visualizing loss and hardship? Yet, for the Stoics, this exercise was a powerful way to cultivate resilience, gratitude, and, ultimately, freedom from fear. By envisioning loss, we prepare ourselves to face it should it come and learn to cherish what we have while we have it. The Stoics understood that much of our suffering comes from attachment to things we hold dear and the fear of losing them. But by facing these fears directly, by rehearsing adversity in our minds, we weaken the grip that these fears have over us. Seneca, the Roman philosopher, practiced negative visualization to remind himself that even his most prized possessions, his wealth, his health, his friendships, were temporary gifts, not guarantees. In doing so, he freed himself from the dread of losing them, allowing him to live with a sense of peace, knowing he could face whatever life brought his way. When we imagine losing what we hold dear, we paradoxically appreciate it more. Negative visualization helps us see the extraordinary in the ordinary, to treasure the people, comforts, and opportunities around us without taking them for granted. The next time you enjoy a meal, spend time with a loved one, or simply sit in silence, pause and imagine what life would be like without that moment, that person, that place. Feel the gratitude swell within you, a deep recognition that each experience is unique, precious, and worth savoring fully. Negative visualization also strengthens us for times of actual hardship. Life is unpredictable, and suffering will come. By rehearsing potential losses, we can build resilience in advance, preparing our minds and hearts to handle adversity with composure. If we have already imagined ourselves facing difficulties, illness, rejection, failure, these experiences, should they come, will be less likely to shake us to our core. We will have rehearsed our strength, training our minds to respond with calm acceptance rather than shock and despair. But make no mistake, this practice is not about dwelling on fear or falling into pessimism. Rather, it is a tool for liberation. By imagining potential hardships, we become like soldiers who have trained for every battle, who know that while they cannot predict the outcome, they can prepare their own mindset. This readiness removes the sting of life's inevitable changes, allowing us to meet each moment with calm resolve. Negative visualization teaches us that fear of loss is often greater than the loss itself. When we confront our fears in our minds, they lose their power over us. We no longer live in constant dread, but instead we step forward with a quiet, steady confidence, knowing we are prepared. And in this preparation we find freedom from anxiety, from clinging to what we cannot control, from the fear that so often darkens our days. Through negative visualization, we train ourselves to let go of expectations and to live fully, no matter what the future holds. We learn that letting go does not mean giving up on life's beauty. It means embracing it even more deeply, with a profound understanding of its fragility and worth. This is the gift of negative visualization, a mind that is ready for anything, at peace with both joy and sorrow, fully present in the here and now. Lesson 6. Practicing voluntary discomfort. Picture yourself leaving the comfort of a warm home, stepping out barefoot into the chill of a winter morning. The discomfort is sharp, but as you stand there, breathing deeply, you realize that you're alive, that you're capable of enduring this, even finding a strange calm in it. This practice, intentionally inviting discomfort, was a powerful tool in Stoic philosophy, a way to strengthen both mind and body against the inevitable challenges of life. To the Stoics, comfort was a double-edged sword. While ease can be pleasant, it can also weaken our resilience, binding us to routines and luxuries that prevent us from growing. By practicing voluntary discomfort, the Stoics found a way to prepare themselves for any hardship that life might throw their way. Seneca himself would often sleep on the floor, wear simple clothing, and eat basic, even unappetizing meals as a reminder of how little he truly needed to be content. This was not a rejection of pleasure, but rather a reminder of inner strength, that he could face discomfort with calm and find peace in simplicity. Engaging in voluntary discomfort helps to shift our mindset. When we regularly step outside our comfort zones, we expand our tolerance for challenges. We realize that many of the fears we hold, the fear of discomfort, of rejection, of failure, are not as overwhelming as they seem. We become less reactive, less dependent on external circumstances, and more capable of maintaining our peace in any situation. Imagine incorporating small acts of discomfort into your own life, taking a cold shower, fasting for a day, going without your phone for an afternoon. These aren't acts of deprivation, they're exercises in strength. Each time you embrace discomfort, you send a message to yourself, I can endure this. I am stronger than I thought. This shift builds resilience, a quiet confidence that stays with you, empowering you to face both life's minor annoyances and major trials with composure. Stoicism teaches that discomfort is not to be feared but understood as a natural part of life. By facing it voluntarily, we remove its power to scare or surprise us. We train ourselves to withstand hardship, knowing that we can weather discomfort without it disrupting our inner peace. It's a mental armor, a preparation for any challenge that life might bring. Voluntary discomfort also helps us value what we have. By periodically doing without our usual comforts, we learn to appreciate them more fully. A simple meal becomes a gift after a fast, a warm bed is cherished after a night on the floor. In this way, practicing discomfort not only builds resilience but deepens our gratitude, grounding us in the present and making us more mindful of life's daily blessings. In the end, practicing voluntary discomfort isn't about self-punishment, it's about freedom. We release ourselves from the trap of constant comfort seeking, knowing that we can handle whatever comes our way. We learn that true contentment doesn't depend on luxuries or perfect conditions, but on the strength we build within. By practicing discomfort, we let go of the need to control every aspect of our environment. We become adaptable, resilient, and at ease in the face of life's unpredictability. Letting go, then, isn't just a mental exercise, it's a physical one. As we practice discomfort, we learn to release our dependence on comfort itself. And in that release we find a deeper, more profound freedom, the freedom to face life as it is, with courage, gratitude, and unshakable peace. Lesson 7. Reframing challenges as opportunities. Imagine standing at the foot of a mountain, its peak obscured by mist. To most, this mountain might look like an obstacle, something to avoid, something too daunting to climb. But to the Stoic, this is an opportunity, a chance to grow, to test one's strength, to rise above. The Stoics believed that every challenge, every setback, was not just an obstacle, but an invitation to build resilience, develop character, and become stronger. This ability to reframe challenges as opportunities is a cornerstone of Stoic strength. One of the Stoics' most powerful principles was to see every difficulty as fuel for personal growth. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This is the heart of reframing, recognizing that the obstacles in our path are not there to halt us, but to guide and strengthen us. With this mindset, no challenge is wasted, every setback becomes a stepping stone, every failure a foundation for future success. When we face hardship, our first reaction is often resistance. We view the difficulty as unfair, unnecessary, or simply an annoyance. But what if we chose to look at it differently? What if instead we asked, what can I learn from this? Or how can this make me better? By reframing challenges in this way, we not only shift our perspective, but we also gain a sense of power and agency. No longer are we passive victims of circumstance, instead we become active participants in our own growth. Consider the everyday obstacles that can arise: an unexpected setback at work, a disagreement with a friend, a disappointment in our personal lives. Each of these moments is an opportunity to practice patience, resilience, and clarity. When we approach them with the Stoic mindset, we train ourselves to remain calm and collected, to think clearly even under pressure, and to find solutions rather than dwell on problems. This shift in perspective allows us to let go of resentment and frustration, seeing instead the chance to build inner strength. Reframing also teaches us the art of adaptation. Life rarely goes exactly as planned, and setbacks are inevitable. But when we choose to see these moments as opportunities, we adapt, we grow, and we emerge stronger. We realize that challenges are part of life's natural flow, and by embracing them, we align ourselves with this flow rather than fighting against it. This acceptance is the essence of letting go, releasing the need for things to be perfect or easy, and finding value in the struggle itself. Reframing challenges does not mean denying their difficulty or pretending everything is positive. Stoicism acknowledges that life's challenges can be painful and uncomfortable. But by choosing to view them as opportunities, we transform our experience of them. We become resilient not because we deny life's difficulties, but because we choose to face them with strength and purpose. This reframing frees us from the need to avoid hardship. Instead, we face it with courage, knowing that every challenge is a chance to become wiser, stronger, and more grounded. In letting go of resistance and reframing life's obstacles as opportunities, we unlock a profound source of inner power. We find that we can handle whatever life brings, that even the harshest challenges contain the seeds of growth and transformation. With this mindset, no setback can defeat us. Every obstacle becomes, as Marcus Aurelius said, the way forward. In this way, we learn that letting go of resistance is not weakness, but the very strength that allows us to rise above. Lesson 8. Cultivating inner peace through acceptance. Imagine for a moment standing in the midst of a powerful storm. The winds howl and the rain lashes at you, relentless and unyielding. Now picture yourself at the center of the storm, still, calm and untouched. Though the tempest rages around you, you remain centered, unaffected. This image captures the essence of Stoic acceptance, the art of maintaining peace within, no matter what the external world throws our way. The Stoics were masters of acceptance. They understood that while we cannot always control the events that happen in our lives, we do have the power to choose how we respond to them. The true battle is not against the world outside us, but against the internal turmoil we create when we resist or fight against reality. Acceptance is not about passivity or resignation, but about finding peace in the present moment, no matter the circumstances. Epictetus, One of the great Stoic philosophers famously taught that it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. This powerful teaching invites us to recognize that our peace is not dependent on external conditions, but on our ability to accept what comes our way. Life will inevitably bring us challenges, discomfort, and loss. The Stoics teach us that we can meet these trials with a calm, steady mind by accepting them as part of the natural order, and by focusing only on what is within our control, our response. Acceptance begins with surrendering the illusion of control. We often spend much of our lives trying to control or change things that are beyond our reach, the actions of others, the passage of time, the unfolding of events. This constant striving creates stress, frustration, and anxiety. Acceptance, however, allows us to release this need for control. We recognize that some things are simply beyond us, and instead of fighting against them, we let them be. In this letting go, we free ourselves from the emotional weight of resistance. But acceptance does not mean passivity or indifference. Rather, it is the acknowledgement that some things are simply as they are. We do not need to approve of everything that happens, but we can choose to accept it. This inner acceptance allows us to maintain our peace, even in the midst of turmoil. It is the realization that peace comes not from controlling the world, but from controlling our own thoughts, emotions, and reactions. Let's consider an example. Imagine you're faced with a traffic jam on your way to an important meeting. You're frustrated because the situation is beyond your control, and now you're late. The immediate reaction might be to stress, curse, or try to rush through it. However, with the Stoic practice of acceptance, you can shift your mindset. You accept that the traffic is out of your hands, and instead of fighting it, you focus on what you can control, your response. You might choose to use this time to practice deep breathing, listen to a podcast, or simply let go of the frustration. In doing so, you protect your inner peace and avoid giving the external world power over your emotions. This practice of acceptance deepens our resilience and emotional intelligence. We stop being tossed around by life's circumstances, and instead we learn to remain centered, grounded, and calm. We embrace what comes our way with the knowledge that we have the power to respond thoughtfully, not react impulsively. In this way, acceptance becomes a source of strength, a tool for maintaining peace, no matter what life delivers. Through acceptance, we let go of our need for perfection or control, understanding that life is inherently unpredictable. We embrace the idea that challenges are part of the human experience, and through them, we grow. By cultivating acceptance, we come to realize that we cannot change everything, but we can change how we meet each moment. We can choose peace, choose clarity, and choose inner strength, no matter the storm. In the end, acceptance is not about giving up or giving in. It is about understanding that true power lies in our ability to find peace within, regardless of the chaos around us. It is about letting go of the need to control everything, and instead focusing on the only thing we can truly control, ourselves. By embracing acceptance, we unlock the path to lasting tranquility, no matter what life may bring. Lesson 9. Letting go of ego and the pursuit of humility. Imagine a vast ocean, its waves stretching far beyond what the eye can see. Now, imagine that you are a single drop in that vast ocean. In this moment, you are both a part of something greater and yet small in comparison to the whole. The Stoics understood that the ego, like a wave in that ocean, often seeks to stand apart, to demand recognition, and to assert itself above all else. But true freedom and peace come when we let go of the ego and recognize our place within the greater flow of life. The Stoic practice of humility is not about self-deprecation or diminishing one's value. It's about understanding our true nature in relation to the vastness of the world. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, wrote in his Meditations, "You are a part of the whole universe, and like a part of the human body, you have a duty to the whole." In this statement, he reminds us that we are interconnected, not separate or superior to others. The ego, which constantly seeks validation, power, and superiority, only disturbs our peace and our connection to the world around us. The ego thrives on comparison. It demands that we measure ourselves against others, that we prove our worth by accumulating achievements, recognition, or possessions. But the Stoics sees through this illusion. They know that true contentment comes not from external validation, but from aligning with virtue, acting with integrity, and finding peace within ourselves. The Stoics teach us that the less we are concerned with ego-driven desires, the more we are free to live authentically and in harmony with the world. Humility, then, is not the same as self-neglect. It's a radical acceptance of who we are, both our strengths and our limitations, and an understanding that we are not above others. Humility allows us to see ourselves as part of a larger whole, not as the center of the universe. When we let go of the need to prove ourselves, we release the weight of pride, and in doing so, we free ourselves from the constant striving for approval or recognition. We become at peace with who we are and with what we have without the need to compare or compete. Take, for example, the simple act of listening. In a conversation, when we let go of our ego, we stop waiting for our turn to speak, stop trying to impress or prove something, and instead we focus on truly hearing the other person. We become present, without the distraction of our own inner dialogue about how we're being perceived. In this space there is no ego, only connection. This is the power of humility. It allows us to engage fully with others, not through the lens of competition or self-importance, but with a deep, genuine presence. The Stoics also believed that to let go of the ego is to recognize that we are all part of the same human experience. We share in the joys, the struggles, the victories, and the failures of life. This understanding fosters compassion as we see ourselves not as separate or superior, but as connected to every other person. In letting go of our ego, we let go of judgment, allowing us to interact with others with kindness and empathy, rather than with the need to dominate or outshine. Humility is also key in the Stoic pursuit of virtue. A person consumed by ego is constantly seeking external measures of success. But the Stoic, freed from ego's grip, seeks to cultivate inner virtues, wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. These qualities, which cannot be measured by status or wealth, become the true measure of success. When we let go of the need for external validation, we are left with a pursuit that is in our control, the cultivation of a virtuous character. Letting go of ego is also essential for inner peace. The more we cling to the need to be right, to be admired, or to be in control, the more we become vulnerable to disappointment, anger, and frustration. Our ego constantly demands that the world bend to our will, but when we release this demand, we let go of the conflict that arises from it. We accept the world as it is, and in doing so we find freedom. We stop fighting for our place at the center of it all and instead find peace in simply being a part of the whole. The Stoics were not dismissive of personal ambition, but they understood that true greatness comes not from the ego's hunger for recognition, but from quiet service to others, from living according to virtue, and from accepting our role in the larger tapestry of life. The less we focus on our own importance, the more we are free to live a life of purpose, peace, and deep fulfillment. In letting go of the ego, we learn that we do not need to be more than others. We do not need to stand above. We do not need to prove anything. In this surrender, we find true strength, the strength to be humble, to act with integrity, and to connect deeply with the world around us. By embracing humility, we let go of the need to control or dominate, and we allow ourselves to simply be, peacefully and fully, within the vast, ever-changing flow of life. Lesson 10. The freedom in non-attachment. Imagine standing in the middle of a field, surrounded by possessions, relationships, and achievements that you have gathered throughout your life. Now, imagine walking away from it all, leaving behind the weight of attachment without regret or fear. This is the essence of Stoic non-attachment, the ability to live freely, unburdened by the things we accumulate or the people we depend on for validation. In the Stoic view, attachment is a form of bondage, while true freedom comes when we learn to let go of our attachment to outcomes, possessions, and even people. The Stoics believe that attachment to external things is a major source of suffering. When we attach our happiness to something outside of ourselves, be it material wealth, fame, or even the approval of others, we give away our inner peace. These things, by their nature, are temporary and often beyond our control. The moment we depend on them for our sense of self-worth or happiness, we invite uncertainty and frustration into our lives. By practicing non-attachment, we release the need to rely on anything external for our peace, finding instead that true contentment comes from within. Epictetus, in his teachings, often reminded his students that it's not the things themselves that disturb us, but our judgments about them. When we release our attachment to outcomes and material things, we take away the power they have over our emotions. We become free to live in the present moment, appreciating what we have without the fear of losing it, knowing that our happiness is not bound to anything external. To practice non-attachment, we must begin by recognizing the things in our lives that we are clinging to, whether it's a particular outcome, a material possession, or a relationship. Once we identify these attachments, we can begin to gently loosen our grip. This doesn't mean we stop caring about people or things, but rather that we stop tying our happiness and sense of self to them. We learn to enjoy what we have without becoming dependent on it. Think of a loved one, for example. We can cherish them deeply without attaching our identity to them or relying on their affection for our own sense of worth. If we let go of the need to control the relationship, we allow it to flow freely without the burden of expectation or fear of loss. This same principle can be applied to all areas of life, from material possessions to career achievements. When we let go of the attachment to them, we find that we can appreciate them more fully without the anxiety of losing them. The beauty of non-attachment is that it doesn't lead to indifference or detachment from life. On the contrary, it allows us to engage with life more fully, with an open heart and a clear mind. When we are not weighed down by attachment, we are free to experience life as it is, without the distortion of fear or greed. We can pursue goals and dreams, but without the desperation or possessiveness that often accompanies them. We can build relationships, but without the burden of expectation. Non-attachment also fosters resilience. Life will inevitably change, people will come and go, possessions will wear out or be lost. When we practice non-attachment, we are better equipped to handle these changes with grace, because we know that our peace does not depend on holding on to anything. We are like the tree in the storm, bending with the wind but never breaking, because our roots are grounded in something deeper than external circumstances. In letting go of attachment, we let go of the illusion of control and embrace the freedom that comes with surrender. We learn to trust the flow of life, knowing that it is constantly changing and evolving, and that we can find peace in the midst of this change. This is not passive resignation, but active participation in life, free from the fear of loss. As we come to the end of this journey through the art of letting go, remember that true freedom is found not in holding tightly, but in releasing. The Stoics understood that peace comes not from external circumstances, but from within, from the mastery of our thoughts, our emotions, and our attachments. By practicing these Stoic secrets, we begin to break free from the chains of fear, pride, and dependency, and step into a life of greater clarity, resilience, and inner strength. Letting go is not about losing, it is about gaining. Gaining freedom, gaining peace, and gaining the ability to live fully in harmony with the world around us. So, as you continue your journey, remember the wisdom of the Stoics. Let go of the things that hold you back, let go of the need to control, let go of the ego, and embrace life as it comes, with courage, humility, and acceptance. The path to inner peace is one of continual release, of shedding the weight of unnecessary attachments and embracing the flow of life as it is. In letting go, you make space for the greatest gift of all, the gift of living fully, authentically, and with a mind at peace. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of Stoic wisdom. May you walk this path with clarity and courage, knowing that the power to shape your peace lies within you.